Hi, my name is Nina from Audit Radley. The subject that I'm going to speak today about is exempt income in the USA and how it's taxed in Israel. So I'm going to cover a couple of issues. The first one is if you're living off qualified dividends, what is called in the USA, if you have income only qualified dividends under the sum of $44,000, you are tax-free. If you pass this threshold in America, you will start paying 15% taxes. So I'm going to cover something very interesting that's happening in Israel. It's different than in the America, when you have long-term and short-term holdings. Rather, your taxes will differ by your age, or let's say your passive income. So when you're under 60, most of your passive income will have fixed rates, and when you're over 60, it can be your marginal rate or up to the fixed rate. So if we're talking about qualified dividends or dividends at all, they have always, in Israel, they will always have a fixed rate. Since they are linked to a foreign currency, they will always be 25% and more. They won't have, like in Israel, they won't have a 15%. Or they won't have a 7% if it's a R&D approved, like in Israel. It will always be 25%. That is in accordance with paragraph 1 of the tax ordinance. So now we're gonna speak about, that's the first thing. But so if you're over 60 and if you're not over 60, they will always start in 25%. But okay, your credit points might cover something like 5,000 shekels. So if you don't have a lot of qualified dividends, that's what you're only living off, you can might not pay taxes. I want to also speak about your pension funds, because they will give you, in these situations, they will give you deduction and credit points. So in some cases, it's you can deposit in your pension funds. So that's the first thing, the qualified dividends in the United States. Let's move to your Roth IRA. So your Roth IRA in the United States will be, it is parallel here in a way to what is known as Kitzba Mukeret. In my opinion, your Roth IRA will be taxed on like a Kitzba Mukeret, which is, it has no limit, more or less. But what they usually do in the international taxation firms, at least up to 23 or late years 2008, they usually put it on a 9C. They'll say it won't be taxed more than it was taxed in your foreign currency, foreign country. But all the paragraphs of 9 as 9A, 9B, 9C might be applicable for your Roth IRA and might be applicable for your IRA. I just want to give you something you might need to think about when you move to Israel. It's that foreign, how is it called? It's PFIC. It stands for Passive Foreign Investment Company. So any investments that you do in Israel, and for instance, if you are in an American who does investments, you will have, your long-term, your short-term for capital gains. You have, very low thresholds But if you are an American who still has his American citizenship and he lives abroad, and the Americans don't want to, they want you to stay American, you know, to keep investing in American firms. Therefore, if you have any foreign investment companies in your portfolio, you might find yourself in a very high threshold of taxes. So if you make a relocation into Israel, you might have, you know, in some cases, this a complete exempt for 5-10 years, or that thing if you're, you know, a new immigrant or a returning resident who stands in the criteria. But after this time, you have to, you know, think about if you're moving your money from abroad to Israel and you want to make investments in Israel, you have to be very cautious and speak to someone who's a professional. So you won't, I think it also applies to your pension funds. I think it might also apply. That's what I heard, but I'm not sure. I think it's you know, if it's a retirement plan qualified in America, it might not, but that's the case. The final exempt tax that I want to, exempt income that I want to speak about is your residential, you know, if you do a flip, your residential home, you have an income that is under, in America, under $250,000, you get an exempt, you know, if you're a single filer. So we're talking about Israel. Only if you are something that is called Memfteach, or it will be very, you know, interpretation of the law is quite strict, which will say, okay, this might be exempt in America, but it will be a taxed in Israel as a capital gain, which is a capital gain will start in 25%. It might go to 27% also. So that's a regarding that. I just want to cover this thing of long-term, short-term holdings. So in America, because a lot of people are trading in the stock market, while in Israel people are investing mostly in real estate. It's a thing of demand and supply, where Israel is a very small country with growing population. So in Israel, a lot of people put their money in the real estate, and there's not such a speculative market going on in the stock market in Israel. I mean, if anyone wants to trade shares or indexes, Israeli indexes, he might, even if it's a, you know, a price, market price, might wait half a day till someone goes in and makes a, you know, a purchase. It's mostly the institutions. Also, you know, just cover a bit, there was a big, people are not reliant, they're very traumatic of what happened in the 80s with the inflations, and the banks themselves were trading their own stocks. So there's this stigma of Israel is, you know, stay away of the stock market. So that's regarding that. While in America, the country doesn't, there's a thing, they don't want people to become speculative, don't want people to make it a business. So they differentiate between your long-term holdings and your short-term holdings. So if you have a short-term holding, they will tax you as a business, as your marginal rate, while your long-term holding, which is something like 3 years, will be taxed in your mostly 15%, and then goes further. You don't have it in Israel. You have it only on your age of 60. That was what I was covering before. So when you are over 60, your passive income, including these capital gains, including these capital gains, will start from your marginal rate and go up until they reach the fixed rate of that capital gain. So it mostly is 25%. If you have what is known as rich man's taxes, you have another 3%. And if you are a main shareholder, it will start from 30% and will be 33%. It will, be your marginal rate till 30% and 33%. While if you're under the age of 60, you will start from 25, 27, or for a main shareholder, you'll start from 33% if you have a rich man's taxes. So these are a couple of the correlations or interfaces between exempt tax or different tax rates in America correlating to the tax system in Israel. You are invited to like and subscribe and get in touch.